All right, I just want to point out something very important, or in other words, something very valuable when it comes to using Demetra's number system, my numerology system, my numeric deciphering system, my original divination technique, right? When using numbers to navigate frequencies, especially when dating, interacting with, deciding on potential partners. Okay, this is so important because the problem is, especially if you are wounded, especially if you are still doing healing work and you're still working on cultivating that true internal sense of self-love, right? Because that's the game changer, first of all. But I digress. If you're still working on that, it can be hard. Let's say someone comes along that shows you some sort of attention or some sort of interest. And if you have low self-esteem, you might not realize there can be others. And the beauty in this is understanding that you get to choose what you want. This is about you manifesting what you desire, right? That is the determining factor, okay? But when you can understand frequencies and what these individual numeric frequencies mean, right? And this will all be in my book. And I've done countless videos on all of the numbers, right? 10 through 19. Which is what individual numeric frequencies are, the numbers that begin with 1, the numbers that describe an individual frequency, right? So if you can understand that and you can learn what they mean and you can recognize them in others, you can decide, okay, if you're not someone that's interested in internal or external discomfort or someone that's restricted, right, emotionally, spiritually, financially, you don't want someone in 15 frequency. Let's say you're someone who is okay with the status quo and you're in 13 frequency. You're okay not really being super spiritual or super woke, right? You're the majority frequency, which is okay, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But you're likely not going to be a good fit for someone in a 14 frequency, right? Now, can there be couples that have conflicting frequencies? Yes. But at the end of the day, is it going to be the most fruitful, beneficial as far as growth, as far as peace, as far as resonance, as far as soul speaking to soul, mind speaking to mind, right? Not really, because you have different focuses, you have different motivating factors that are very different. Now I'm going to use myself as an example. I started dating, I really jumped into the dating pool in January of this year. And went on a few dates, dated a couple people for a while, but the people that I dated for a while were both 13 frequency. I'm in 17 frequency. It was definitely an energetic mismatch. Okay, and it's not to be condescending or look down on anybody's energy, but there's definitely a gap as far as spiritual understanding, knowledge of self, understanding of others, right? That was missing in these men. Now, what it also indicates is ego issues, right? Because a 13 frequency person, and I've done videos on this where a lot of times people assume or mislabel someone as a narcissist, but they're simply a 13 frequency being, right? Because the concept of 13 frequency, it totals 4, 1 and 3 total 4, which is the number of awareness, right? Awareness of everything, self, external, internal, right? Others, so on and so forth, spiritual. That's missing. This frequency, this person existing in this frequency, their experiences are intended to help contribute to greater awareness, but this is not a 14 frequency being, 14 plus. This is not someone that has actual spiritual understanding of what any of that means. This is not someone that's done ego work. This is probably someone who may be a participant in therapy, but oftentimes isn't. But that's not even a determining factor because you can very well be in therapy at a 13 frequency, right? But therapy in and of itself oftentimes can initiate someone into 14 frequency over time, right? Because that awareness is being gained, awareness of self, awareness of one's own patterns, so on and so forth. But my entire point in saying that is this. in making difficult decisions, in breaking up with my wounds, which essentially at the end of the day, these beings are representations of our wounds, right? On the dating journey. And until you are able to make those uncomfortable decisions, leaning into opposite action, right? Allowing 23 frequency to take place, right? Breaking away from 32 frequency, which is, in other words, embracing shifts, embracing opposite action, opposite feeling, discomfort in order to break through certain patterns. Because that essentially is what is going to allow for a proper frequency match. Okay, so in doing that work, in making those decisions, in breaking those patterns, in healing my wounds, and becoming aware of them first and foremost, right? Awareness is always the first step, then making a decision not to repeat something, or making a decision to pay attention to something in such a way that allows you to move differently, okay? That's the beauty of it. And in doing so, I was able to manifest a man who's also 17 frequency, right? We're not a wounded pair. We've endured great hardship, great trauma, great struggle, but we're not wounded. We're very much healthy. And because of that, because we have reached that frequency on our own, us coming together, it's the healthiest relationship I've ever experienced. The only healthy relationship I've ever experienced. So I say all of that to say this. Pairing the work you've done on yourself with knowledge of frequencies and knowledge of what those frequencies look like in others will allow you to make better decisions when it comes to your love life, when it comes to matching with anyone, right? Friendship, workplace, otherwise. When you can pay attention to the fact that frequencies are what come into alignment, and you can make decisions that can help you prevent connecting with certain frequencies you don't want to align with, right? Because even when you are at a certain frequency, that doesn't mean you are completely exempt from, in some way, shape, or form, aligning with other frequencies. But with the awareness of them, you can choose to shorten that connection. Have a great day, my loves.